Let my puppers out because he's sitting by the door like he's all sad.
No, no, not the pupper.
Well, he was sick, so he's just getting over that. We were so proud of him because our puppers he's pad trained, and Higion came home day before yesterday, and he had like diarrhea like 14 times, but it was all on the pads. And we were like, "Aw, buddy."
What a good boy. Sad, but good.
Right? It's like, "Oh, but hey." I want to give you a treat, but that is the last thing I should do right now.
Yup.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Curse of the Crimson Throne. I really need to start making these more public because I forget to release them. Hey, Sib, we haven't talked about it in a long time. Do we still have a podcast?
Yes, we do.
Woohoo!
Haven't updated it in a while. But I'm moved and finally I'm unpacking stuff and...
Yeah, back down to Atlanta, Georgia, eh?
Yep.
Nice, very nice. My sister likes to migrate south for the winter. Like a bird.
Definitely.
So for those of you who are listening to the podcast, don't worry, we'll update soon. But by the time you hear this, we would have already updated, so really this is kind of pointless. So story time, huh? Last session was quite an interesting session. You guys were exploring the house of undead zombies who were having they were having a delightful time until you guys showed up, just doing their own thing, having a party. You guys are like the wedding crashers. You weren't invited. You go in there, you mess up their fun.
Just ruined everything.
You found out that Jolestinia, a lackey, for lack of a better term, of Rolth, actually a groupie is probably a better description for her, was given orders to kill everyone at this party, make it look like it was the Bloodveil that did it, and then she was told to hide there until the plague lifted. And in her boredom, she decided to rise the dead and make her own macabre party of undead zombies that were under her control.
Did you just say macabre?
Yeah, isn't that how you pronounce that?
Macabre?
Yeah, macabre. Whatever.
No. We'll go with macabre. I like that.
I think
I like that.
I think like 10 years ago I used to pronounce that correctly, and then one time I mispronounced it and I was like, that sounds so much better. And then like subconsciously I just started pronouncing it that way. Macabre. Anyway, she started making her own really twisted and disgusting party. You guys found it, killed many of the zombies, and fought her at the same time, which she turned out to be quite a handful. Until Freya cast a spell, which we're really going to have to talk about because I do believe you need a warrant to break that kind of privacy. But cast a spell that allows you to know where she is at all times, and given her whole shindig is hiding and hitting you from your blind spots, made the fight a lot easier. You were able to capture her, and she at first was very unwilling to talk to you, or more to the point, seemed excited at the prospect of you trying to torture or beat information out of her. That is until it became very clear that she knew and had some form of relationship with Amelia. And you all were introduced to Amelia's dead sister, Annika, who most of you had seen once before, but of course it was a very stressful, strange time, and no one really had the chance to go, Amelia, WTF to that? Actually, I believe at the time, there is no reason to believe that even belonged to Amelia, because I don't believe Annika appeared around you. I believe she was all up in the bad guys' faces.
Yeah, she didn't really appear near her, just kind of over the whole,
But you found out that Annika Amelia's sister, who was murdered by Rolth, has been hanging around Amelia this entire time, and the sight of Annika terrified Julistinia into talking, in which she told you what she was there for, who sent her, though she doesn't know exactly why. His employer, quotation marks, told him to, but she doesn't know who they are, and she doesn't know where Rolth is, and Amelia can attest to this. Rolth very rarely tells her where he is because she's very clingy. So, when we ended the session, you had pretty much gotten all the information that you felt you were going to get out of her. We're going to decide what to do with her and what your next steps were, and had to deal with a small, slight, tiny little issue about something about your sister, Amelia. Not everyone's the biggest fan.
I don't know what you're talking about. I thought everyone had a great time.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start the session, kind of dropping the ball in all your courts. Actually, let's go ahead and just let me throw up that map there. And share this with everyone because sharing is caring. And like I said, the ball's kind of in your court. Julistinia is tied up. She's under the control of Rhea right now. You guys, well, no, you know what? I'm just throwing this directly to you. We ended with Amelia and Weary having a sort of confrontation that hadn't really played out when we ended the session. So we're going to pick right back up where we left off. Rhea, you're still kind of holding Julistinia, who's tied up now. Amelia and Weary.
Didn't I thought we ended with us having searched the
Yes, no, sorry. You are absolutely correct. You guys had actually finished the killing all the zombies in the mansion because there were quite a few more to kill. But I wasn't going to force the players to go through that because, quite honestly, without Julistinia there, it would not be that hard of a fight for you all. Though I will say, in trade for this, I would like all of you to expend your higher level spells and half of your first level spells, because you still have to kill them. So. But
what if I just spam cantrips?
We are compromising. I will not make you guys trudge through the entire house killing zombies for 2 hours, but we will say that you nuked most of them.
What if I shot a bunch of them? Then people wouldn't have to use spells.
I mean, you guys want to go fight them? We can go fight them. I still got them all set up.
I think after this we're taking a long rest anyways, because we've got to trudge all the way back to Cressida and then, I don't know, deal with some emotional shit.
Where the hell are we going? Out to the freaking shed? Because we're not taking a rest in that house.
No, not in the house. I said we have to take what's-her-face to Cressida.
Right.
Oh, I thought you meant like we're doing the rest before we go. I was like,
oh Jesus Christ. No,
right,
I don't even want to know what the carpet looks like.
Right there.
Let's just take a quick nap.
On the bloodstains.
Ugh.
I mean, I could do it. No problem.
Well, then you go ahead. Amelia has a creepy spirit haunting her, but she still has standards for beds.
I never said my character would.
So,
Just me.
Let's say this. You guys finish cleaning up the mansion. You take down all the rest of the undead. You also find in the bedroom upstairs, you found the mistress of the manor, Mrs. Carwin. And down in the cellar, you found Mr. Carwin, who looked to be the only one that escaped Julistinia's wrath, but not for very long. He bled out down there in the cellar. One important note, least we all forget, there is one person who was not killed nor turned into a zombie, and that is Shala's friend.
Link.
Yeah, Raul. Jolestinia said that Rolth had specifically requested not to murder anyone of Venetian descent, and he was of Venetian descent, so she did not. Instead, she handed him over to Rolth. And so he is not dead, as far as you know. At least was not last time she saw him. And he has been taken by Rolth for some reason.
Nothing good, I'm sure.
I don't know.
Cabbage
Seems
Head
like a stand-up
2.0.
character. So, you guys have cleared the house. I know that there was an intention to bring Jolestinia to Cressida.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do anything here as far as character interactions of any kind before you head over to Citadel Volshnik?
Amelia's not really talkative right now, but if you guys want to say anything, go right ahead.
Annika's just chatting up a story. No. Like Annika just starts floating
Fucking better
next to
not
people,
be.
talking in a Brooklyn accent for some reason. No. Actually, you guys have seen hide nor hair of Annika since the interrogation of Jolestinia.
There's not much hide to see.
Yes. Though I don't know if we've ever described this before. It's very important to. Annika has a ghastly green appearance, a translucent appearance. Her features might have been called beautiful once. In life, she was probably very, very pretty.
She's Amelia's twin sister, so.
Yes. So I said probably. No.
Oh, damn, all right.
But one important thing to note is that her throat, even in her ghost form, appears to have been ripped out. It is not a pleasant sight. But, like I said, you have seen neither hide nor hair of her from that incident. You've cleared out the rest of the mansion. What would you guys like to do?
While keeping a good, 5 to 10 feet of distance from Amelia at any given time, Mary was going to drag any, miscellaneous wood, any, tables, chairs, and shit into the center room.
Are you going to set this shit on fire?
Yes.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Did you forget who her deity is?
Nope.
Serengay.
Serengay.
That's the one.
While you are doing that, you would so Shala, ever since the confrontation of sorts, has been very, very quiet. And she kind of will at one point go up to Murray as she's doing this and very quietly say, Murray, why are you moving all the furniture?
This place has seen some unholy things, and I think it is time to end its tale in Corvosa.
Ah, I see. I'm not obviously going to stop you, but, well, just thinking from the finer points here, arson is quite illegal in this town, and at least the Crimson Guard knows that we're here. I don't know how much you know about Corvosan penalties, but burning down the house of a very rich nobility is, well, at the very least you would lose a hand. Perhaps it might be better to have priests cleanse the area, and then let the city take care of it.
Moira's been kind of hunched over. She stands up and dusts her hands off and says, "Am I not a cleric?"
Well, if you can bless the house, then again, I'm not going to stop you. And I imagine Weary's got she's exhausted, she's tired, probably not the gentlest demeanor at the moment. Shala would shrink back a little bit and she would say, I only suggest that, well, they know we're here. If this place burns down, it's likely that we would be charged with arson, and penalties in Corvosa are very severe.
Well, then hopefully by the time the fire catches, we will be far away.
I mean, we could also leave and come back at a slightly later point in time to burn it.
As you wish, child.
Shala looks over to Ross like gratefully, but says nothing.
Ross looks completely shocked that Murray was acquiesced so easily.
Like, whoa, okay.
Ross did not expect her to say okay.
It's been a long day, man. She only has so much fight in her right now.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
Oh, wait a minute.
All right, let's burn it down then.
I'm trying to think if I could rig something, if a Ross could rig something so that it would, like, catch fire after we're gone, and, like, clearly at...
All right, everyone who is a native to Corvosa, roll me an intelligence check.
Are you gonna make us think about the laws?
Not the laws in particular. You were just told what the laws were. Amelia, Freya. Okay. What about the rest of you?
Define native to Corvosa.
Mira, you've been here long enough that you can make the roll.
Okay.
When you're the only one that doesn't get to roll.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I wasn't born here.
No, Rhea. Rhea's the only one that doesn't get to roll.
Oh.
Okay. Miri, Amelia, Freya. You have been in the city long enough to know that there are several churches that offer cleansing services. You have a Temple of Asmodeus. You have the Academy. This is not the most moral city. This is certainly a city that has seen plenty of undead experiments in its time. There are ways to go about cleansing an environment. That said, again, I'm not trying to change what Miri thinks. Miri is probably well aware of this and is choosing to burn it anyway, because fire is cleansing as well. I'm just letting you all know that this is not... I was going to say not uncommon. This is uncommon. This is a very uncommon situation, but not an unprecedented situation. And there are several temples that have been known to consecrate disgraced places like this.
Hey, Squee?
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to figure out how long it would take a candle to burn through, like, hemp rope?
You are really going for this.
Translation, we heard you, but we're choosing to ignore what you said.
And I am that makes me smile.
I
yes.
feel like the point of us waiting to burn it down later is we wait a few days, not a few hours.
Well, okay, to be fair, let's play this out. Let's say you somehow wait a few hours to where you're in Cressida's office talking to her. Well, obviously it couldn't have been you.
Oh, okay. You know what?
Exactly. That's
pretty
exactly
fair.
what I'm
That's
thinking.
pretty fair. Okay.
And hang on a second. If we look around at the manor, I mean, it's not like there's any houses slumped up against it. This could... So, Ross, here's what I'll...
That's the reason why Weary is choosing to burn this place, because it's not in a danger of catching anything else on fire. She's not about to burn a whole city block down.
Right. Ross, roll me a second intelligence check then, actually. I don't think there's any
Plus,
real
its
skill
owners
you
are
can-
dead, and even if they weren't, they can afford a new house.
I'm sorry, Ross, make that a tinkering check. So just add the tinkering bonus, not the intelligence bonus, which is...
Oh, craps.
I believe that's just intelligence and proficiency for you.
Yeah, which would...
3, so that's a 13?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is not rocket science here. I would say that it would take a 50-foot rope to do it. Does anyone have a 50-foot hemp rope?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I have one 50-foot hemp rope. And actually, what I'm thinking is I have a vial of alchemist fire and a candle.
I think. Oh, okay. And a candle. I was going to say, I think we decided that alchemist fire wasn't actually fire.
But it would catch things on fire.
Right. So here's okay. So Aras starts walking up. I don't know if she'd really explain what she's doing. She just kind of starts walking up the stairs, and you realize, Aras, that if you were to jerry-rig it so that the alchemist fire bottle is here, let me pull out a pointer here. If the alchemist bottle is like on the floor, whoops, why did that not? There. Like, okay, again, draw arrow. Okay, I give up. I'm going to do this on mine.
And as I'm walking up the stairs, I'm going to be like, well, if I did this, hung a alchemist bottle with rope, and then put a candle, tied it off, and then put a candle to burn through the rope, it would give us X amount of time. Exactly.
Like you put a bottom alchemist fire at the bottom, and then you hang a rope from the banister, and you set the top of the rope on fire. The fire would slowly travel down the length of the rope, coil around the alchemist fire, break the bottle, and start a fire. That'd give you about, depending on if you use the whole rope, that'd give you about 45 minutes. Give or take.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we can make a show of being out of here when,
Well, 45 minutes, if you were to head straight to Citadel Volshnik from the heights, you're talking maybe a 30-minute trip. So you could do it in 45 minutes.
Where?
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
I mean, especially if you just head down to the I-9, the big street down here that wraps around the actual castle, and then just follow that big road down past it to S13, the marketplace. Take that through, cut around through there. Yeah, you could do it in 30 minutes. You hit on I-95. You take that left exit.
Well, this is direct from God. I guess we're gonna burn down a house.
Excuse me. Part is not direct from God.
That part is direct from my God. Surrender. Thank you.
God is just telling you that it's doable.
Which is pretty much as good as like, yeah, go for it, man.
I should tell you guys things are doable more often. Yeah, no, taking on that nest of beholders is doable. Not at your level, but I mean.
If you roll really well. All right. So I guess this is happening.
I mean, the other thing is, I could set the rope up and I could light it on fire later.
Question real quick, while you guys discuss that as well. What, if anything, are you doing with Mr. Carwin's body? His body is the only one that is... So there are lots of... And to set the scene again, there's lots of dead zombies, of course. But there's also lots of dead corpses that all look like they have been killed by the Blood Veil. Look like, because you know that Julistinia used magic to alter their appearance. And there's also Mr. Carwin who bled out on his own. So he's just a dead body.
Unfortunate, but here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You said that he was the owner, correct?
Correct. It was his manor.
I mean, we could probably just tell Cressida, like, hey, if he's got any next of kin, they should probably, like, go over and take care of him and shit.
Go over to that. Plume of smoke
Burning
over
house.
there. What is
Yeah.
that?
Oh, that's so weird. We just came over from there and it was totally fine.
Yeah, it really wasn't on fire when we were there. You know.
Yeah,
Look at us here with you, Cressida.
exactly. See, you get it.
That's like the party rolling a 1 on their bluff check.
I mean, Aras will tell more, I can always set something up and then ignite it later.
Is Unseen Servant a ritual?
It is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love how y'all are working with me on this one. Thank you, guys.
Mary's been through some stuff.
We've had a rough fucking day, and all she wants to do is wipe this place off the face of the map.
All she wants to do is arson, guys. Come on.
Just one.
It's a house she's
Twice.
She's a mom friend. We need to let her loose every once in a while.
Excuse me, small correction. Twice now.
Yeah, you'll eventually do that.
This will make Mary a serial arsonist.
Wait, what's
No.
other...
It needs to be 3 times before my serial arson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the other
technically.
time was the docks, remember?
Yeah,
Eel's End. Eel's
I
End is
thought
gone.
you were saying...
somebody kicked a stove over.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were saying she's already set stuff on fire twice. Sorry.
Well, no,
No,
she's
this is gonna
already
be second
wanted or let things burn. Yeah.
Yeah. Once before.
Yes.
But yeah, no, with Unseen Servant, we've got like, oh, what we can be plenty far away.
Well, let's see here. Let's take a look at Unseen Servant and see what its capabilities are. Can you tell it, say, in an hour to set a fire? Isn't there a range? That might
It's
work.
60 feet. You need a piece of string and a bit of wood. I don't know if we can find that around here, guys.
That would be fine. You could find that. No, but the question is, can you leave that 60 feet and it still stay there?
This spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless form that performs simple tasks at your command until the spell ends. The servant springs into existence in an unoccupied space on the ground within... Jeez, okay. Within range, it has an... If it drops to 0, then ends. Once on each of your turns as a bonus action, you can mentally command the servant up to 15 feet. Okay, that's the movement speed of it to interact with an object. The servant can perform simple tasks that a human servant can do, such as fetching things, cleaning, mending, folding clothes. This sounds really useful. Lighting fires, serving food, and pouring wine. Once you give the command, the servant performs the task to the best of its ability until it completes the tasks, then waits for your next command. If you command the servant to perform a task that would move it more than 60 feet away from you, the spell ends.
Yeah, that was my fear. Because otherwise you could just make an unseen servant and say, go across the city and do things.
Well, I would have just left it there for an hour to then set fire to everything.
And I'm with you, but you still have to be within 60 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how far out of the... Because if we just set it to light the candle once we're 60 feet out the door... Sure,
that would work. But I mean, to be fair, and yes, that would work, certainly. But at that point, 60 feet's not going to make a big difference.
I just wanted to be
Sure.
fancy.
No, I understand. It's a fantastic idea, and I was excited for it, honestly. It's that range that's the problem.
Boo. Okay.
Dang it.
Fine.
You do have, I don't know why I'm giving you guys ideas as a GM. You do have a servant that can fly in and out of places that is not limited.
Oh, yeah. You can have
60
the
foot
dragon
range.
set everything on fire.
You have a dragon.
Amulet of blasting.
Okay. You can ask him. We collectively, I can ask him if he would be willing to set something on fire. Is he fire resistant, by the way?
He's a dragon. Yes, he's not fire resistant per se. Like he's not. He still takes the same amount of fire damage other people do, but he is a nimble, crafty little familiar that can just fly away. Like, it's not like it's something that would endanger him.
I like the rope plan.
Are you gonna reimburse me for the?
Oh my god.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
This rope has been with me since the beginning, and I just don't want to part with it. Like,
Well,
it's really hard for me, guys.
Here, take 15 daggers.
Or any of the 13 short swords and multiple crossbows we have in the bag of holding that we've been lugging around.
By the way, did you guys
Hey.
divide up the loot you found on Julistinia?
No. Can you like
Yeah,
post that later?
I'll just share it with you guys again, so you guys can do that in the background.
Okay. Does anybody else use leather armor? I think I'm the only one.
Julistinia does.
That's really unfortunate. Gee.
I'm just putting that out there.
I thought we went over this. You guys were gonna divide up the magic items, and I was just gonna take the loot, the money.
Yeah, what do you need money for?
Yeah.
To buy my own magic items because I can't get any here.
Didn't you take a vow of poverty or something?
Absolutely not.
She's a paladin, not Jesus.
Oh my god.
I don't know how that religious stuff works.
No, like you swore not to kill people. That's like the same thing, right?
Right.
Yeah, right?
In any case, Aras, with the tinkering check of 13, you could set up that trap. Like I said, it's not compared to what you're normally making. That is a fairly simplistic thing to do.
Okay. The only question I have is, do we light it now or light it later?
Y'all know what Mary thinks, so.
Well, I don't want to say that Freya would disapprove of you lighting the place on fire. I think she would have just walked out because it smells bad.
That's fair.
Like, I don't want to stand around a bunch of dead zombies. I'll let you guys do what you want.
Rhea disapproves, and she's already outside the building with Julistina.
Yeah.
Shala would probably be with Rhea. Because, man, she is getting an uncomfortable vibe around Amelia, Murray, and Aras right now.
It's too much tension. God. But yeah, no, let's just set it on fire now. Well, set it on fire relatively soon.
Rhea, you know how it is when, like, two friends have had an argument and now they're not speaking to each other, but you all went out to go eat anyway, and now you're just there, and...
We made the plan a week ago. We can't just cancel now on the night that it's happening.
God, I know that from a week ago. That's painful.
Ooh.
That's Rhea and Shala right now. All right.
Oh, Mom and Dad are fighting again.
So actually, you know what? So yeah, while the three of you are outside, Shala, Freya, and Rhea, Shala would look over to you two and then say, "So, are you two all right? That was, well, nasty business, zombies."
I'm fine.
I'm okay, but I am a little concerned. I suppose not leaving behind any traces of where we've been's nice and all, but that's a bit much, though.
Shala nods. Well, I did bring up the whole losing a hand thing, but, well, Murray is one of the bravest and strongest people I've ever met. And I tend to find that when you meet strong people like that, when they get an idea in their head, and then she just kind of shrugs.
Freya kind of nods, like, understandingly. But that says, well, I suppose we can leave them to their own devices. I just would rather not have the roof collapse on me.
Shala nods. And she turns to... Oh, go ahead. You were going to say something?
Well, no, I finished. If
Oh,
you're talking
okay.
about me.
All right. Shala
Yeah.
would turn to Rhea. What about you? Everything okay?
I suppose it's just. Well, none of the three of us have really been with any of them too long. I suppose it's just going to take some time to truly understand how this all works.
Shala kind of like puts her like fist under her chin, like as she kind of leans against the outer wall, and she goes, "I don't know, Rhea. I mean, it's true. We haven't been with him for very long, but well, burning down a house isn't a complicated thing to understand."
I think there's probably like a mild chuckle from Freya. She's trying not to like
Right.
jump into that, but
Shala then kind of just shrugs and sighs, and she goes, "Well, we've been around them long enough to know that the law would never stop them from doing what they feel is right. It's admirable, in a way, I suppose."
well, and that law seems to be protecting the person we're now hunting.
It does? Shala looks surprised. Wait. Who are we
Is she not
hunting? Rolf?
out of character real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to reconfirm. She does.
Sure.
She was there for the whole Endiason thing, right?
Yes, but there's been several people, especially today. There's Endiason, there's been a lot of talk about
That's
Rolf.
pretty fair.
I believe there was a recent conversation about Gadrian. So she's kind of like she's literally just like, which person are you referring to?
I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I don't blame her at all. I think Freya's just a bit too despondent to be very clear. But Freya looks over to her and says, well, Endiason, I suppose. If
Oh,
that's the right name to call her by.
well, I think it's more her anonymity that's protecting her. But I'm sorry, Freya. I don't want to discuss this if it is painful to you, but you know her, don't you?
There's kind of like a twinge of pain that shoots through Freya's, like as she kind of averts her eyes at that, but she nods subtly.
Does she seem like the type of person that would do all of this? And she kind of just makes a gesture towards the city.
Freya takes a bit to respond, probably like a solid 5 seconds, just kind of thinking about how she wants to phrase what she's saying. But I believe it. I 100%. Sorry. But she turns to Shala and says, I don't think I'd really know. I wasn't exactly the favorite one, but I think she definitely has the aptitude to do it at least.
I see. Well, then I suppose finding her is important. Is she powerful?
There's kind of a bit of like choking on what she's trying to say, like from Freya, but she nods and says, "Oh, doctors know a lot about the body, and that means that when combined with a will to kill, they're a lot more effective than most people."
Shala like looks at Freya for a long time, and she goes, "Yes, there was a saying I heard once that a doctor with a will to kill is just an assassin." And then she kind of turns to Rhea and she goes, "Rhea, you've told me many times that you do not feel that killing is the right answer. And I respect that. You know I do. I'm curious. This Andiason, if she has truly done all of this, she has the deaths of thousands on her hands. Would you spare even her?"
My tenets are much more complicated than perhaps I've made them out to seem. It's not simply just a refusal to kill, there are other measures that should be taken beforehand. Death it should be a last resort. If there's any possibility of rehabilitation or some other such matter, it should be considered.
And for her, she points to Gillistinia, who's literally like babbling at the ground right now, very under her breath. You think she could be rehabilitated? You saw what she did.
I did. But while it is all truly awful, I've seen others come back from worse.
Shala's eyes actually widen at that. And then she kind of slumps her shoulders and she says very quietly, "I don't understand. She is a threat. I saw what she did, felt what she did. Every ounce of me says to slit her throat right now, so that she cannot endanger anyone ever again." And then she'll look up at Rhea. "But somehow, around you, that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I don't understand it." And then she kind of just starts walking off.
Freya would turn over though to Rhea, and she's kind of shaking a bit, but like she looks a little bit nervous, but she would ask Rhea then, "Are you being sincere with that?"
With what exactly?
Wanting to spare Andiason.
when the time comes, if I believe that's the proper course of action, then yes.
She looks a little bit angry at you for saying that, but she calms down before saying anything and says, I see. And is that because of a role you're deciding to follow? One of your tenets?
My tenets are part of my oath. If I do not follow them, then what was the point of taking it?
Well, an oath is not that different from a contract, right? And contracts can always be rewritten.
When it comes to paladin oaths, it becomes a bit more difficult than that.
She sighs some, but says after that, then, well, when it comes to the moment where you have to choose between one of us and her, I hope it isn't complicated then.
Cressida placed me with this group. I am... My order, we protect those we work with. We protect, in a sense, that's... My whole point in being here is to help people. I hope that when the time comes, you won't doubt what I choose.
She seems a bit disillusioned with what you said, but she says then, well, it's okay. If I have to, I'll just kill her myself. But Rhea, as dangerous as she is, I'm not just wanting you to be ready for this for yourself. No, I didn't mean to say that. For our sake, I meant that she's incredibly dangerous, even to someone as strong as you. Hesitation isn't something I think should even be considered.
And I do not consider hesitation often.
Meanwhile, back in the mansion, people are laughing maniacally as they set things on fire. No,
Probably.
Sorry, I didn't know. I thought you guys were done. Did you have
I had one last thing.
Sure. I'm so sorry. There was a long pause, so I thought you guys were... I'm just gonna shut up now.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to think about what to say. I'm really sleepy. I'm sorry. But she smiles at least a bit softly and says, "Wow, I guess you're about as hot-headed about stuff like this as he was, but I'm sure you'll be fine. Just be careful, I guess."
And you.
But she's gonna fall over and walk towards Shala. But that's unless Shala's wanting to specifically talk to her, I'd say that's seen.
Yeah, sure. No, Shala's just staring off into like the garden because it's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The back in the mansion, Aras, you set up this jerry-rigged alchemy fire delayed explosive.
Yes.
Muri and Amelia, what's going on? Like, I mean, are you? What are you two doing? Like, are you just listening to Ross's explanation? Because I believe Ross was kind of explaining, right? Like, I could do this, I could tie this here, and then boom.
Amelia's just waiting to see if she needs any help, but she isn't really saying anything. Just kind of watching. Yes.
Mary will nod at Aras's explanation and say, "I trust your work."
Thinking back to the hole in your attic.
Does it matter
Forgiven,
now?
but not forgotten.
Does it really matter now? I'm sure there's
Yes.
a lot more wrong with the building than just the attic.
Hey man, she left a shrine there. Hopefully it's under some sort of god's protection. Hopefully.
Yes. Sarah and Ray has nothing better to do. But yeah, you're able to set up the device. And then I would assume that you guys kind of put enough stuff around the alchemy fire that you're fairly certain that when the alchemy fire goes off, it will catch enough on fire to start the chain reaction you're hoping for.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, try again.
So do you guys light it?
I will be ready to light it, but I'll stop and ask Mori, like, I mean, light it now or come back and light it later?
Best take care of it now. Who knows what our next task will be.
Okay.
What?
So then I guess I will light the rope now. And we will quickly walk out.
Okay. You light
Yes,
the rope.
let's.
You've got about 45 minutes, give or take. By the way, Murray, your spiritual weapon would have unsummoned
Disappeared
by
by
now.
now.
Yeah.
That's fine. I was gonna carry it through the city.
So you guys
Real
make your
quick,
way.
Sorry. Jelusina had a wand of control undead and then a wand of mold flesh, was it?
Correct. Both have
Okay.
been. No, well, wand of rise undead, which would give her control over them, and a wand of mold flesh, both of which have been expended. They were not permanent magical items.
Okay.
So you guys make your way out of the mansion, and seeing as you do so, Shala walks back towards you, and she holds her head up and she says, "We cannot take her to Cressida."
Why not?
She looks at Rhea, like stares her right in the eye. "The laws, after what she's done, they will hang her, no questions asked. You know this."
So what would you propose we do with her?
The Order always has room for more.
You want to try and make her a paladin?
No, I mean, rehabilitation and the...
I don't think you quite understand. She's not someone you rehabilitate.
I can be. I can be better. Amelia,
You
tell them.
stab me for fun.
But I was just playing, Amelia.
You think I enjoyed that?
She looks like confused and scared. And she just kind of looks down. I never hurt you.
You did! Constantly! Anytime I was paired with her for anything, just out of nowhere, just constant nicks and stabs and jabs. I think I have more scars from her than I have from any other experience in my life.
Gelestinia looks from Amelia to everyone else, like kind of in turn, and she goes, You don't have to turn me in. I admit, okay, I get carried away sometimes, and I messed up, maybe? But you said it yourself, right? Worse people than me can be saved, right? And she kind of starts like pawing at Rhea.
Aren't her hands tied?
Yep. So, like, imagine hands tied together, like pawing at Rhea's leg.
Rhea will sort of pull her hands off of her and say, I stand by what I said.
I think Freya would walk over and... well, how flustered does Amelia look right now?
She looks pissed.
Okay, so she's not going to tap you on the shoulder. That's a bad idea, but she'll try to get your attention. Amelia?
What?
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Well, guess it comes down to, would you prefer her to die or to live in eternal solitude away from Rolf? I mean, you did want her just to go to prison anyway, right?
Going around saying magic words like that, god damn it. Amelia looks over to Justina. Jolly, whatever.
Jolly. Jolly Gelestina.
Oh, God. Well, where are we supposed to keep her until then, huh? Are we supposed to let her stay in a warehouse full of orphans?
And what guarantee would we have that she couldn't get out until she had really, truly been rehabilitated? And how would we know?
What guarantee would we have that she makes it to her rehabilitation center? I do recall this is not the first argument we've had about this. And I stand by then what I will say now. There are some people who cannot be saved. There are some people who, well, I think that they will get what they deserve And I hope, for their sake and for those of their victims, that, well, let's hope that they be punished justly for what they've done.
Shala stands up as tall as she can, and she says, Murray, every ounce of me agrees with you. That said,
Except the ounce that's speaking right now, evidently.
Rhea, she follows an ideal. She is a better person than I will ever be. And she has been through all of this with us, and I have never once seen her ask anyone to do anything. There's going to be so much death before this is done. Maybe just once we try things her way. I may not understand it, I may not agree with it, but as I said, maybe it's the right way.
Amelia shakes her head fervently and says, no, not this time. Not with her. Anyone but her. No, actually, anyone but her, or Ralph, or Gadrian.
Well,
Weary will turn to Joestina and say, have you ever killed children, dear?
Amelia looks at Celestina.
What? No, I would never. All of you, roll me an insight check.
Oh boy, okay.
Do I get a bonus?
Nope. You do not.
God damn it.
It has been quite some time since you two have been together.
Yeah, but I know this crazy bitch.
I know.
What'd you say? What's your
Ross.
God.
You know what? Actually, Amelia, yeah, roll at advantage.
What the fuck? Why did I get a run too?
Fuck you guys.
Yeah, 21.
Oh.
Nobody else knows this bitch like I do.
Give me
Those
a
are
second
some
here.
terrible insight rolls.
Oh my god.
Speak for yourselves.
Yeah. Everyone except Amelia. She seems like she's being honest. Maybe a little too fervent, but she seems like she's being honest. Amelia.
Yeah, but she's also crazy, and
Yeah,
she
well-
didn't consider stabbing Amelia to be hurting her.
And
so-
Amelia, you don't buy it. Amelia, you've never seen her kill children, but you don't buy it. You know this girl. You also know that she is a pathological liar, so.
Yeah, she takes a step forward and says, "Don't you dare lie to me."
Amelia, the children? The sweet little innocent boys and girls? I would never.
She's going to turn to everyone else, knowing that there's nothing she can pry out of this woman, and say, you cannot believe her. You cannot listen to a thing she says.
I still think this is your choice in the long run. You'd rather be hanged or do it yourself.
I'm not going to give her what she wants.
How long do we have before the mansion catches on fire?
Oh, I'd say about 40 minutes now.
Oh, Lord.
I say we take her to Cressida. She's not someone who can be redeemed.
Freya will nod. She's not going to contest anymore. She just wanted you to be the one that chose.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, she's not going to contest. I mean, she wanted her to die too, but, you know.
I want her to die, but I don't actually want to be like the person who executes her. Like, leave that guilt off my conscience.
To be fair, Freya has no idea who. Well, she might have a good idea because of Mind Spike now, but
Right.
Other than that, she doesn't really know who this is.
You know where she is.
So Aras will speak up and say, so to Cressida, to the Citadel, I mean.
Shala would look at Rhea and shrug apologetically and look truly disappointed.
I'm sorry, child, but she cast her own die.
Who does Muri say that to?
To Shala.
Oh. Shala would shake her head and she would say, I'm not the one that needs the apology.
Then I'm sorry to you too, Rhea. I wonder sometimes if this is the best place for you. You are a truly gentle soul, and I see it, but I believe she deserves everything she will get, both here and beyond. Shall we?
Well, real quick, does Rhea say anything?
Yeah, Rhea will sort of stare off past everyone, just looking at nothing, and say, I understand that nothing we do will be my choice alone, and that I am outnumbered in each decision. But with every person that we come across, how many more will you decide that they are not worth saving? We will get the next one, or the next after that. I will not contest this decision any further, but
I think, child, at times you forget I follow my own creed, and I have sworn my own oaths. Mine are different than yours, and mine state that there is evil in this world that cannot be redeemed and must be expunged. Do you understand?
I understand completely, and I know that we all follow different ways of life. But killing is not the only way to get rid of evil. That's all I have left to say on the matter. And she'll start walking Jolastina towards the Citadel.
Jolastina walks with you, but she starts weeping as you all leave the house.
At probably a slightly brisk pace, because we've spent a lot of time
And there's an explosion
talking.
as Ross miscalculated.
Shit!
What
Everyone
you thought
run.
was 45 minutes was really,
Really?
45 seconds.
No.
Oh no, don't
No.
even.
You see, like, I just had this funny image of you guys start walking and there's like an explosion. You're all like, whoa, what the?
Oh.
That was...
Everyone whips around to a Ross, just like, what the hell, man?
Oops.
Sorry, calculator. I thought I had it right.
Maybe those
As Rhea-
those 6 barrels of gunpowder was a bit too much.
As Rhea escapes with Jolastina
Oh, God damn it.
to the order.
So, you guys begin to make your way back through the city, and it is, well, it's only been a few hours. It's the same as last time you tramped through the city. Desolate. Not desolate. Depressed.
I was going to say, what?
Yeah. Depressed, quiet, no one talks to each other, everyone keeps their distance. You hear coughs from every window, and you make your way down the streets, and I imagine it's a very dreary day. It's overcast.
I'm so glad that quarantine is doing its job.
Well, you're nowhere near old Corversa, so it could be, or it could not be. Who knows? Whatever the case may be.
I think the point of the quarantine was to keep the plague in Old Corvosa, right?
Well, to keep the worst of it in Old Corvosa, correct? But the entire city's
I
been
don't
hit.
think it worked.
Yeah, well, the entire city's been hit. It's kind of like it's like your whole body's infected, but your arm's really bad. So cut off their arm and maybe slow down the infection is the idea behind that quarantine. Whether that's effective or not is really up to you guys. But you make your way back to the streets, and like I said, it's a dreary kind of overcast day. It's probably 3 p.m. You can't really see the sun. It's one of those like where it's not dark rain cloud-esque. It's just like a dull gray overcast. And you guys make your way to Citadel Volshnik. You're greeted by the guards, and they look at Julistinia, who has changed from weeping to giggling to herself. And the guard looks and goes, "Had a busy day, have we?"
That's one word for it. Is the field marshal around?
Yes. Do you want to perhaps... I can lend you one of the guard stations to clean up, if you would like. You are covered in... Well... And like he motions, you guys have been fighting zombies all day. You are covered in blood.
Can we get going, please?
Yeah, excuse me. I shoot from a distance. Would not actually be covered
in blood. And one thing to note as well, Shala, maybe distracted or for whatever reason, has not been casting prestidigitation on herself.
Good for her. You're a human, lady. You get to look as shitty as the rest of us.
He'll motion you through. He'll say, of course. And he'll nod for one of the guards, and one of the guards will escort you guys through Citadel Volshnik to Cressida's office.
Weary will linger just long enough to thank him and ask him if he's well and healthy.
As well as can be in these times, and from the looks of it, a mite bit weller than you lot at the moment, but thank you.
I am glad to hear it.
He nods. And you
Would
guys...
you like to come to dinner?
No, we haven't fought him. I can't ask him to dinner.
No, that's fair.
It's truly a marker of how bad Julistinia has done when she has not gotten the invitation. You guys walk into Cressida's office, and it's a familiar sight by now. Paperwork stacked up on her desk. She's still in full armor, dark circles under her eyes. and she's signing something when you walk in, and she looks up and she goes, "Dear gods, what have you gotten yourselves into now?"
The Carowin Manor. We heard from a friend of the sister of a friend of Shala's that what's his name again?
Link.
It's not Link.
You can't convince me otherwise.
I can. I can, and I will. Give me a second, actually.
Rune.
Yeah, it's
Link.
Rune.
Oh, Rune.
Rune. It is. Give me a second, and I'll tell you his exact same full name.
I keep feeling like it's Ron or something like that.
No, it's Rune.
Yeah, it's Ron because Shala was like.
I'm sorry, Rowan. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ron?
Yes, I'm
What
looking
do
at
you mean?
it. It's
Ruan?
Rowan, like
Ruan.
Ruan. No, it's Ruan. Yeah, Ruan. Ruan.
I was right, bitches.
Because in the book it actually has a bullet point that says ruins ruin, and I'm like, oh, puns, ha. That's like the title of the mission.
That's unfortunate.
Got it.
Well, he's still alive technically. I think that's a bit PDF. I think you're jumping the gun just a bit here. He's still alive as far as we know. These PDFs are so overdramatic. But yes, his Ruan, Ruin.
So we.
Well,
learned...
this is also something that Cressida had asked us to.
Nope.
No, this was not.
No, that was the alley.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
On the way to the alley, something happened, and we got diverted.
Cressida would nod. She'd say, "No, I heard about it. His sister has been speaking to any guard she can. We simply just did not have the resources to investigate it. I'm glad you did, but what happened? Look at you. You're all covered in gore. And who's this?"
I regret to inform you that all attendees save one at that unfortunate party are now deceased. Several times over for some of them.
Close the door.
Amelia will put the 2 wands that she confiscated from Celestina on Chrysidia's desk.
Shala will obediently close the door behind you.
That
Deceased?
includes the late Mr. and Mistress Carlin.
I'm assuming I don't have to ask who did the killing.
I believe you're in her presence. Well,
The first time.
you don't have to believe me.
She looks over at Celestina by herself. Everyone at the party.
She's very good at what she does.
I see.
They were unarmed and evidently not expecting it.
And then she decided to raise them again for entertainment.
Celestina giggles a little bit when you say that.
And that was
Raised.
all such fun, wasn't it? She's talking to Celestina like she's a child.
Right. And Celestina looks at Mary and she goes, "You have to admit it is kind of funny." And then she kind of closes and looks down again. And Cressida says, "By raised, you mean undead?"
Several many
Almost
were,
all of
yes.
them, in fact.
The ones that she didn't raise had the appearance that they were suffering from this plague.
I see.
Even though they hadn't been at the party long enough to actually catch the plague. or die from the plague. Which brings me to another point I wanted to discuss.
Yes.
I think we know who, at least, is behind the plague.
This first, that later. I would rather not discuss it in... She sort of gestures to Justina, this one's presence.
Fair enough.
I see. So, if I understand correctly, this woman, her name?
Amelia, you know most about her.
I was muted. Sorry. Jolistina.
Jolistina. Went to this party, murdered everyone within, and then raised many of them as undead.
She was given orders to wait out the plague.
I see. Orders by who, exactly?
Roth Lamb,
Lamb.
son of Gadrian.
And with that, she kind of leans back in her chair. Ah. And you have proof to these events?
Miri will have a... We'll pull out a chair and gently motion for Rhea to have Justina sit down.
Rhea doesn't move.
Alright, then I suppose we'll do it standing. Oh, not at Shala, but it's a...
My God.
Not at Shala, but it's a, she has to roll a save for a Zone of Truth.
Oh, well then it would be Shala. It'd be everyone.
It'd be
Oh, yeah.
everyone, yeah.
So, guess what? Shala saved at least. That's good to know, I guess. In case she just starts dealing in lies. Let's see. Sure, let me go ahead and roll
no,
for
this is plus...
Justina.
This didn't add my proficiency at all. So it's just DC 11.
So, what is your... So, it'd be DC 11 plus 3, right?
11 plus...
So, the spell save would be 8 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency. So, 3 and 4, I think.
Well,
yeah.
I think she has a wisdom of 18, right?
Yeah,
I do. I have a wisdom. I have plus 4 is my wisdom mod, and
So it'd
be 8 plus
proficiency is
7.
plus 3.
It'd be a DC 15.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Shella
she
would
would have
still end up
failed actually.
So
Well,
technically... okay. So...
Shella met the DC, so she would still pass.
Oh,
Right.
would she? Oh, okay.
Yeah, she would.
But it's okay. I don't think you need to worry about her lying. Though.
So would Rhea.
We ain't telling you guys shit.
Freya and Ross. No.
You guys don't know if Jolistina did or not. But Muri,
Well-
you cast the words of Zone of Truth.
I do want to ask real quick
Mhm.
because I was already my character was already I PM'd Weary about this going to do something like interrogate.
Oh, what? Oh, you did? Oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't read it.
It's fine. I was curious whether or not you would notice the PM. I was but
Totally not.
if this were to be evident, I would cast Detect Thoughts on Jolistina as well.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you
So
clearly see Muri casting Zone of Truth. And what's the save for Detect Thoughts?
Wisdom against my DC. I want to say 15 as well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so 15 as well. It's a wisdom save? Alright, she definitely fails that one.
Okay.
So, Cressida leans back and she goes, I'm not the most proficient with magic spells, but I've heard that one before. Something to make them tell the truth?
Not make, necessarily. You will find the 2 wands before you are expelled of all slots. They are 1 wand of raise undead and 1 wand of old flesh.
I see. Well, then, I suppose I'll ask you directly, Miss Jolestinia. Is what they say true? Did you murder everyone at that mansion? No, of course not. It was Roth. Roth did it. Roth did it. I'm innocent, though. I'm innocent.
Freya would speak up and say, wow, she's lying.
Cressida would lean back. Didn't you just say that you cast a spell that says that she speaks the truth?
Well, I'm reading her thoughts right now, and I can tell she's lying.
Cressida kind of like puts her hands to her temples. So, she is under a spell that makes that so she can only tell the truth. And she says she doesn't, but you're telling me you can read her mind and she is lying. But if she's lying and she's under a spell that makes her tell the truth...
Well, spells don't always work the way you want them to.
Then how do you know you're reading her mind? I don't like magic. She kind of like just squeezes her eyes shut.
It's alright. Just continue the questioning.
She looks back up at Jolestinia. You said Roth did it. What do you mean by that? Oh, well. Roth. Well, he's a necromancer, you see, and he's done many terrible things. He murdered her sister, and he points to Amelia, and tortured her, and me, for years, and damaged us both. He's a terrible, terrible man. He made me watch while he did it. Murdered all of them, rose them from the dead, and left me there. I attacked them, sure, but out of fear. Out of total fear. For my life.
They were unarmed.
So, after that spiel of nonsense, Freya would actually say what she was thinking. Here's the false answer.
Yeah, so here's the interesting thing, Freya. The first time when she said it, you could detect her thoughts, and her thoughts were basically the following. It'll be the end. It'll be the end if I don't say something. No more fun. Nothing else. And then from that point forward, when you said she's lying, I can detect her thoughts. All the thoughts you detect are exact mirrors of what she says. You've done this enough times to know that there are some people who, once they know, they have ways of thinking about only what they want to think about when they know that they need to. Does that make sense?
That's fair. It's a very disciplined mind, but that's fair.
Very disciplined mind, especially for a crazy person. I would say, though, you get little snippets, little tiny giggles in her head.
Well, I think just mentioning it, like even in the spell description, it talks about just asking them that they would instantaneously think about it for a moment.
True, but you have to ask her specifically.
Right, that's fair, yeah. And I'm letting Cressida do that because she wants to.
Right. And Cressida leans back.
So wait, did she or did she not save against?
It is, well, one of two things have happened. Either she was lying to all of you when she told you she did it, and how she did it, and reveled in it, or she saved against your spell.
I'm guessing it's the second one.
Also, she rolled a 14 plus 3. So,
That's
Yeah.
too bad.
but of course, the PCs would not be sure one way or the other. I mean, honestly, though, I think you could be fairly certain, but you wouldn't know if she saved or not.
Okay, all right. I didn't see the +3 attached to her roll.
It's not because I didn't. I have trouble rolling from her sheet, so I just rolled the d20 and then I know what her wisdom score is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's quite clear that she is telling you a very different story than she told you in the mansion.
Are we all affected by the zone of truth?
All
Everybody
of you.
who
Yep.
didn't save against it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone but Rhea and
Shala.
Yep.
Can we do an insight check? I mean, I'm assuming like we kind of are pretty clear or that she is lying.
Sure, do an insight check. Absolutely. In fact, I should have her make a persuasion or bluff
Oh,
check.
Ross, come on!
Oh my.
Give me a second
no.
here. Where is...
Oh.
Alright. So that would... Sorry, I gotta roll something secretly. Secretly! Yeah.
Yes,
Look,
God.
she's telling words, but she's also very distraught and upset. And actually, you know what, Frey, I'm gonna amend what I said a little bit. She's not as good at slipping through your mind check as I may have said. She rolled really badly on her bluff check. So she's saying lies, but even Cressida is just kind of like raising an eyebrow.
We're all affected by the zone of truth spell, and this is absolutely not what she told us. When we were in the mansion, she told us she slaughtered all of them and raised them.
Right.
Did Cressida roll against this?
No. I'm just gonna say she didn't. She didn't.
Should she?
No, I'm saying she didn't resist. Why?
Oh,
She has no
gotcha.
reason to. Yeah. I mean, I know it's kind of an instinctual thing, but I'm just gonna save some time and say no. She's under the spell. And she'll nod and she'll say, honestly, the testimony of several witnesses is more than enough of what I need, especially in dire times like these. I'll have someone sent to the house to investigate that, and am assuming I will find a plethora of dead bodies and zombies. Or, I suppose, zombies? What undead did she raise, exactly?
I think they were zombies.
Fair enough. I'll have someone go by and investigate. Between that and your witness testimony, that should be more than enough to hang her.
So much evidence.
Rhea, Shala's looking at you, and she looks as if she's considering something. And then Shala sighs and looks down, and she says, Madam Cressida, on behalf of my family, I must make a request. Julistinia Superio, I believe? She has made many, many crimes against the Valentine family. Many murders. I know her name well, and my family would demand justice. And since the crimes against our family would take precedence over the crimes against the small, noble family like the Carowinds. I demand the right of naming where her trial is held.
Oh my god.
I'm going to roll a quick persuasion check for her. Actually,
Amelia's
does someone...
eyes are just daggers right now. Oh my god.
Does someone have Shala's sheet? I need to pull up her sheet.
I can if
I
you want me
don't.
to.
I got it. I got it.
Okay.
Things.
Just out of curiosity,
Mhm.
what does Jalestina think about this? If she's capable of thinking.
Celestina is like saying, like her thoughts are, what? I did? Maybe I did? Ooh. Like that's her thoughts. Like it's very clear that she doesn't remember everyone that she's murdered. Give me a second here while I figure something out. Okay. Let me roll this. Okay. Yeah, as far as you guys, hang on a second. Yeah, does anyone want to roll against that, an insight check or something?
I would like to do an insight check, and I'd
Sure.
also like to ask her why.
Sure.
16.
16.
And where.
Okay. 16. Everyone else who wants to roll insight, please do.
We'll take all the W's.
Finally.
Jesus, of course.
I break 10, finally.
Okay, fuck you. Look, man.
11. Okay. Amelia, Rhea. I mean, Shala's hard to read. Aras. This seems very convenient. Murray.
24.
Murray knows when children are telling fibs. But Shala will sit down, like very prim, very proper, sit down in the chair that Murray pulled out. And Aras, you said you wanted to do something?
I wanted to ask her, where do you want to have the change of location and why?
I would like to request that the prisoner be transferred on armed escort to Rhea's Paladin Order. After all, they are paladins. As far as I understand, they are great upholders of justice and friends of my family. I trust that the trial there would be a just one. And to be fair, Cressida, the city has enough issues. Let the trial be held there.
Amelia slams her fist on Cressida's desk and says, "Don't you dare do this."
When you do that, like, Shala actually flinches before she kind of catches herself, and she looks at Amelia.
I don't trust having her transferred anywhere. I wouldn't put it past her or the people she works for to ambush and attack that party.
Charming as I find your lack of faith in my guards, it is not really up to you. And if she is speaking the truth, it's not really up to me either. How come you've never said anything about this before, child? Cressida says. And Shala says, I did not know that she was here until this day. And Cressida looks like she's done, right? I mean, you guys have just walked into her office and just laid down a bag of shit on her desk. And she just, like, closes her eyes, rubs her temples. And she goes, Amelia, you seem obviously very distraught by this idea. Do you have a problem with paladins?
Amelia, still staring daggers over at Shala, will straighten up and take a breath to try and calm down. And she'll look over at Cressida and say, No, there is nothing wrong with the paladins. But what I believe Ms. Shala wishes to do is to try in some way to rehabilitate Julistina. And I can tell you from extensive experience with this woman, she is not someone who can be rehabilitated. She is not someone to be trusted. She is dangerous. She is mentally completely unstable.
Amelia,
What?
it may no longer be our decision. I know your anger. I know she's hurt you.
You
but it
don't
may
know
no
the
longer
half
be
of what
in
she's
our
done.
hands.
Amelia, have a seat. All of you, have a seat. Please.
I don't know, are there enough chairs in this
Yes,
place
there's
for all
enough
of us?
chairs. Sit on the floor. No, yeah, there's enough chairs.
Well, fine, God. Amelia will very hesitantly take a seat.
Cressida kind of leans back in her chair. I've been in this job a long time. Definitely long enough to know when something's personal. You say that she is working with Rolth, the son of Gadrian, the man who has wronged all of you. The man who, if I recall correctly, you all but went on a crusade to hunt down. I have no doubt that she has done terrible things to you, Amelia, and because of that, as much as it pains me to say it, I also have no doubt that your thoughts on the matter are slanted. Not that I blame you. It is impossible sometimes to be, well, crap, I can't think of the word. The word's slipping through my head.
Impartial.
Impartial. Thank you. That's the word. I'm sorry. I, as a GM, just like, what's the word?
I love it when you're searching your mental dictionary and like, fuck you, dude. I don't know.
And trying to be in character for something. Yeah. She goes, it's impossible to be impartial. You want what for her, Amelia? Not rehabilitation, certainly. You made that clear. So then what would you do with her? And you hear, Emil?
She shoots her a look and says, She shoots her.
In those sentences.
Don't tempt her. Luckily, Amelia's not the one with a gun.
Yeah, no, Ross didn't notice. You rolled a very good sleight of hand check.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the first
We're
time.
going off book,
Ross
everyone.
considered-
Let me see if I can. Yes, no.
Screw the Crimson Throne. We're going off book. Now this is a hunt for Amelia. No, yeah,
Shit.
sorry. What would Amelia say?
I don't know. I don't. Death, pain, torture, these are things that she wants. They're less boring, less mundane than just sitting in some hole and rotting. But I also don't trust her to stay in whatever hole she's put in.
Shala looks at Amelia and she very quietly says, Amelia, listen to what you're saying. These are not the desires of a sane person. Aras, go ahead.
Ross will look at Rhea and say, would it be possible to have the order come here?
That would
To
not be
try to-
necessary. As I said before, despite your lack of faith in my guard, we are more than capable of transferring prisoners. We do it all the time. That's not the issue here. But again, thank you.
It's not that I don't trust your guards. I just don't trust this person that much.
Which is the exact same as not trusting my guards. With all due respect, Eros, I've done this a very long time. I think I know what we're capable of or not.
I also don't necessarily trust the person making the request.
With that, Cressida's eyes widen. Shala?
With this, Murray will stand up. I think that's quite enough. It has been a very long day. We have much blood on our hands. I am not going to entertain this same discussion again and again.
Very well. Then, Miri, if you could, before you go, I would like all of you to make a brief written statement as to what you have heard from this woman, to act as witness testimony. And I will figure out what to do with her. She looks at Amelia. Rest assured, whatever comfort this may bring you, I seek justice. And I will make sure it is delivered.
Clearly, we all have some things to think about.
For the time being, she'll be held here until I can figure out what best to do.
Cressida, may I have a word with you? There is more, unfortunately.
Very well. Shala, if you intend to make an official request, you will of course have to speak with my guards. Submit the request, and the rest of you, please, submit a witness testimony. Miri, you're more than welcome to stay and speak with me in private if you wish. Is there anything else from the rest of you?
Out of character, I do want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Since I've mostly had detect thoughts on Celestina this whole time, was there any point in this where she might have thought something that would make my character think she has a chance of being redeemed?
Roll me a wisdom check.
Oh, dude.
All right. Now roll me an intelligence check, but this one's going to be harder. My thoughts are there's two ways this could go down. You could be wise, or you could...
Oh, thank God.
Okay. Or you could have at some point in time kind of studied insane people, if that makes sense. Like the minds, how...
Psychology.
Exactly, psychology.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
From her raving thoughts, here's one thing that's very clear to you. This woman is not sane. She is very, very damaged mentally. Typically, you know through study, that is not something that happens on their own. Usually there is a catalyst that causes it. It seems quite clear what the catalyst was in this time. But from your studies, two things are clear. Or, well, two things come to mind, especially from her raving thoughts, which are worse than what she says. Is there rehabilitation for this woman? Ooh, I don't know. She is very far gone, right? Possible, but the other thing you know too is she might be as much a victim as everyone else, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you would know, especially from her thoughts, because her thoughts do not have any sort of coherence to them. She is quite insane.
Okay. Then Freya would, when writing the like witness testimony, stuff like that, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
she would elaborate on that.
Okay.
Because that's like the best part from her end.
Understood. What about the rest of you? Is there anything else you would say before heading out to make your testimonies?
No.
Rio will just look at Cressida and say, Cressida, you know my family. You know the Order. You know
I do.
what they're capable and what they've done in the past. I know that the issue is far out of my hands, but with that information, I hope you make as best a decision as you can.
Thank you. I understand. What about Amelia or Ross?
Ross just basically storms, turns around, walks out, doesn't have anything to say to anybody.
Amelia?
Amelia would mutter very quietly under her breath. Well, clearly my opinion matters very little, as she's walking out of the room.
You see, like, Shala kind of, like, flinch as that's said, but she says nothing. She walks out of the room. Murray, you are alone with Cressida. Oh, no, and guards would have taken Gelistina to a holding cell.
Good.
Yes. Murray, you are alone with Cressida in the room.
Murray kind of dusts herself off and settles very heavily into a chair and says, "It's been a long day. I hope you can excuse them."
It's been a long month, and much has been asked of them. Trust me, I understand.
I wish first to ask after your health. I trust you're well.
As ever. As best I can be. After a while, you just kind of... reading so many death reports, losing so many guards that you knew. You blissfully get numb after a while.
Perhaps it would make little difference in the end, but I have some healing ability if it would help.
Thank you, Mary, but unless you have a spell that will wash away my exhaustion, I don't think there's much that you could do.
Well,
No.
if you are short-handed on healers for more physical reasons, then you may always call upon me.
Cressida puts her hand like over Murray's and says, I need you to help find a cure for this mess. That is where your talents are best placed.
That is partly why I'm here. Surely you heard there was some kerfuffle at the Citadel, the castle.
Could you be a bit more specific? Are you referring to when you were locked up?
Oh no, child, this was recent.
Ah, the other night. Yes, it would seem the body that was displayed was taken by Blackjack. It's the talk of the town.
For what reason do you think that body was up there?
To send a message. Her Highness is very firm-handed when it comes to delivering such things, it would seem. Not my taste, but again, not my call either.
Except the body that hung up there had done nothing. Except be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
She looks up.
And have the wrong interest. You met him. His name was Faust.
Yes.
He was arrested with us.
I spent a night with him. Charming fellow. But I certainly don't think he deserved to be, well... Murray, I have serious misgivings about Her Majesty. But unfortunately, with this plague, now is not the time nor the place.
I think you'll find the company she keeps is as telling, especially if he was right.
Who was right?
Blackjack did us a great favor in returning Faust's body to us. It was the last wish
Returning?
of one of his last living family members, his sister. You just met her.
I see. I thought I noticed some resemblance, but I couldn't place it. And you learned something?
Yes, but if I am wrong, it is a terrible thing to think and a terrible thing to say.
Well then.
But if I am right, then it answers many, many questions.
Speak your mind, Murray.
Clenched in his fist, the body of Faust had a rag, a piece of cloth, and on it was written... What's her name? Real quick, out of character.
And Diason.
No, the other one.
Raylan.
Oh, Raylan?
Raylan,
Yes,
that's
Dr.
it.
Raylan, yeah.
On it was written in blood, Raylan is Andiason.
Raylan? You mean the lead of the Queen's physicians?
Now you understand why I was hesitant.
But I had
If
her
I am-
in my office.
If I'm wrong, it is a terrible thing to think and a terrible thing to say. But if I'm right, that answers many, many questions.
Like, Cressida looks angry. She stands up and she begins to pace. That bitch stood here in my office talking about curing a plague she started?
I cannot be sure, but you know me, Cressida, and I will not stop until I know.
She kind of hesitates. She stops. Find her. I will do what I can. But we are stretched so thin. We've
I know.
lost so many.
I know.
She hesitates and then she starts flipping through paperwork. There is a headquarters of the Queen's physicians. Give me 1 second. Yes, I found it here somewhere. It is, the Blessed Maiden. It's a, well, it was, interesting. She's like reading through the paperwork. Seems like it was a warehouse of the Arconuses, but it was purchased by the Queen not too long ago. It's being used as a hospice now.
Arconus. I feel that whenever I hear that name, bad luck follows in its footsteps.
They aren't the most pleasant of nobles, I will grant you.
And they know things they shouldn't.
Well, if you are to find... And she kind of starts to say one word and then says, Dr. Raylan, that is a good place to start. But remember, I also need you to check Wrecker's Alley. If it is up to you, of course, I trust all of you, but sometimes finding the solution to the problem is the most important thing, but we must do what we can to minimize casualties while we can. If Wrecker's
And
Alley...
I think all of us need something straightforward. We've had a very difficult few days.
Well, then here's this. And she'll hand over, like, the information she has on the Blessed Maiden. Get some rest. Figure out what you intend to do. Miri.
Cressida?
Do you think Shala was lying?
The situation with Jolastina is one I have very little to go on. I have nothing but her word against Amelia's, against Rhea's. This is not a situation that is easy to untangle. They mean the best, I know they do. Rhea and Shala both. But do I think they are perhaps... well, perhaps underthinking? There is that, yes.
Cressida nods. Well, whatever I decide, it won't be now. There's too much to do. She can rot in a cell until I figure it out.
Be careful with her. She was not an easy foe to fight.
I understand. Don't worry.
And trust me when I say what she did was beyond inhumane. She shakes her head slowly. They were dancing, as if they'd never stopped. Miming eating, but it would fall out of their mouths. All around the table in their grand costumes.
Cressida nods. She'll be well guarded. Get some rest. You need it.
I believe we all do. Be easy on yourself, Cressida. We've only got one of you.
She'll smile. Have a good day.
And if you're looking for evidence, you might want to, well, look for it soon. Looters, you know. And then she'll exit.
You have like a raised
Very
eyebrow following you out of the
true.
room. Gotcha. The rest of you. So real quick, to move things on along a little bit, I'd like to know, just in broad strokes, kind of like what Freya did, what would you note? Anything of interest in your witness testimony? Anything beyond the obvious of what she told you and what happened?
Muri's report is pretty much strictly factual. She does not embellish on her opinion one way or the other.
Understood. Aras?
Aras's report is purely factual and rather hastily scribbled, and perhaps maybe shorter in detail than it should be.
Gotcha. Okay. Rhea.
So yeah, Rhea's had experience filling out forms and all of that. So it will be factual with things that were said both inside the house and outside.
Gotcha. All right. So you would submit all of those, and assurances would be given that Cressida would look over them and make a decision. But as she said to Murray, it would be made clear to all of you that no decision is going to be immediate, not in the midst of this crisis. And with that, you guys are...
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing we don't have, like, erasable pencils.
No, they're like quills and ink.
Then Amelia's going to have to try several times because she ends up scratching out a lot of lines and then just like crumpling it up and tearing it up and throwing it away. And can I have another one, please?
The guard just passes over. Like it's getting to the point where the guard's just like, not a word, just passes another sheet after like the fifth one.
She's trying really hard to be like factual and not get like emotional and angry about it.
Right.
It's just not
so
working
hard.
out. A lot of angry adjectives are slipping in.
And then that, I need another one. Gotcha.
Quill just pierces through the paper. Damn it!
But overall, factual as far as what happened.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Real quick and kind of important. Does anybody mention Annika?
Ooh. Good question.
Yes.
Nope.
Ooh.
Weary's testimony ends immediately as soon as Jolastina is incapacitated. As in terms of like anything weird, any arguments within the group, Annika, then it is exactly what she said, and then we brought her here.
Gotcha. So, what about you, Ross?
Actually, I probably very vague, but I would write down her Jolestine's confessions. But I would leave out Amelia's twin.
Annika.
Yes, I would leave out Annika.
All right.
And just say that Jolestine became agitated, after being surrounded by everybody and confessed. Yada yada yada.
What about Freya?
I'm going to have her roll for it a little bit because
Sure.
As a player, I think right now she's too distracted to give a very powerful opinion on this. Okay, so I'm gonna lean towards what I was thinking anyway. I think she wouldn't mention any connection between Annika or even a name. However, she would probably mention her, like, Jolastina's reaction to such things like apparitions, things she thinks about in her mind during her report that maybe in an in-depth reading, like, might really confuse Cressida. But
maybe she hallucinated it and that was what scared her.
She's not, like, she doesn't want to directly tie it to Amelia, but she would make it evident that Jolastina has some trauma related to something like that. Yeah.
Got it. So that there was something there or something. Okay, gotcha. And Rhea, what would you blow by blow? What happened?
Pretty much, yeah. Anything that involves Jolastina, including Annika, is going to be written down.
Gotcha. Now,
well, thanks.
I want to stress that. I want to stress here. None of you know what any of the rest of you wrote. These witness testimonies were taken in isolation for obvious reasons. So it's not like you get to compare notes. That would be very disingenuous as far as the law system's concerned. So, gotcha. So that happened, but none of you would know what the others wrote.
Okay.
What did you guys put for number 5?
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't ask each other, but later.
I put C. Thanks.
And then you guys would head out, and where to? So, interesting thing to note, Murray, the Blessed Maiden is not too far from where you guys are staying. In fact, Give me a second here. Why is that? There we go.
Wow, that's like just right down the street.
Yep.
Wait, could you pull up that map for me?
Sure.
see it.
Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
Share. There you go. Look at
Oh, there we go.
G9 right next to the West Dock.
Oh wow.
Yep. Actually, it was
Oh shit, that's right down the street. That's a block away.
It was completely
Yeah.
random. Like I chose where you guys were staying before I reread this part of the adventure, and I was like, oh, well, damn.
That's convenient.
I mean, might as well take this long rest and have people watch to see if anyone enters the building.
So you guys make your way, I assume,
Uh-huh.
back to the West Docks.
A quick detour into the river to bathe.
Sure. Actually, well, you still, that offer of the guard stations are still available, so you can all clean yourselves off.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Aras will do that since I'm assuming she's probably one of the first people done with her witness statement.
Yeah, probably.
Amelia's the last one to trudge out.
How long would Amelia be taking?
Are we all waiting on her?
Maybe,
We're not that far away from the warehouse.
maybe a little bit. She'd probably be a good, 10, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's not long.
Well, you wouldn't know how long it was going to take her.
True.
And it seems like it's going to be a while. So if you guys wanted to head out without her, that's fine.
I would just mention about needing to sell off some stuff in the bag of holding.
Oh, I mean, that could be handled, when you guys get back to the West Dock. Certainly.
Sure. I'm just saying that's Aras is not wanting to be here around people. So
Right, gotcha.
she would be actively looking for excuses to split from the party without actually, because I know for the GM's sake.
Oh, I see
Not
what you're
splitting.
saying. Yeah. No, that's fine. I'm not going to throw, were rats at you in the middle of a shopping spree.
Everyone roll initiative. Except for Ross.
Amelia, you would
Yes.
know when you come out, Shala is waiting for you. Prestidigitation dupt. Though, prestidigitation cannot fix the dagger holes in her blouse.
That's unfortunate.
So that's still there, but she's cleaner at least.
Rhea is also waiting.
Oh, great.
When,
This doesn't feel cornering at all.
No, when
Wow.
you walk out, Shala would walk up to you and say, "Don't hate me, please."
Amelia would look at her and scoff a little bit and rub at her eyes and say, I don't even know you. You don't even know me. Why would you care?
Because
Strangers are just friends you haven't made yet.
Shala would look at Amelia and say, "Because I know I'm new and you don't know me that well, but you all feel like a family. I And she kind of just can't finish what she's saying. She kind of just shrugs and she goes, "It matters to me."
Amelia looks at her, and it looks like for a moment she's going to say something, and then she just sighs and shakes her head and starts walking towards the gate.
All right. You back yet, or
You're muted, honey.
she might still be having internet issues. In
Hang
any
on,
case,
let me go check on her.
Sure. In any case, like as she leaves, Shala just kind of like sighs again and looks down at the ground, and then looks up at Rhea and shrugs. And she goes, I meant what I said, that I thought that we should try it your way, at least once.
I appreciate that.
And she shakes her head and she goes, but understand, I still think slipping a knife in her is the best option. And then she walks away.
I have to ask, would I have been there to hear that?
Depends on if you waited around or not.
Ah, crap. Okay, hold on.
So I'm guessing not.
No,
Nope.
I was not around. I was gonna say odd. I stuck around for Amelia. Even I split. So okay,
no.
cool. Nope.
And she didn't say it quietly either.
Next time I should say that while I'm rolling out loud. But yeah,
That's fine. Then Shala walks away to head back towards the West Dock. All right. What about you, Rhea? Freya? What are you two doing?
I think Freya, she's kind of dealing with her own thing and doesn't exactly want to get caught in the drama, but she also doesn't want to be left behind or like go on without them.
Sure.
She's just sticking around until the herd moves, really.
By the way, there's smoke in the distance.
Oh.
I would have asked Freya if she was done with her report, if she wanted to go with me.
Freya would probably ask you why. Not like in a offensive way, she's just curious. Like what she's doing.
I'm going to sell off a bunch of stuff. And hanging around the Citadel doesn't really seem like the most fun place.
Oh,
it might get your mind off of things.
That does sound appealing. Sure, if you would like my help.
Well, it's always best to go in pairs, or groups at least.
I suppose so.
There's that, ever heard the phrase battle buddy?
She kind of crooks her head down a bit, like to the left, like looking at you like you're crazy. But like not in like a rude manner, but like kind of trying to tease you with just a look.
It was a saying the Shuanti had about, never leave your battle buddy behind. So you're never caught alone. It's actually a phrase from the army.
Yeah, I was
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I heard that before.
I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. A long time.
But she nods and says, if you'd like me to be your battle buddy, I wouldn't mind, I guess. But she I mean, Freya, like all like her physical appearance and everything like that, she doesn't look like she's someone used to fighting. Like this whole gesture to her, it's funny and all, but like what? Like
It's Aras's like
yeah, I know.
attempt of trying to get to know Freya a little better. You know,
She's happy that you're, talking to her, trying to distract her.
and also knowing what it's like to have lost a brother. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So as we're going, she'll kind of mention that as well. Like I know what it's like to lose a sibling. And it sucks. In fact, when I did it, I tried to run away. And while I physically got far, my problems never really left me. If you ever need somebody to talk to, I probably wouldn't be a first choice, but I would always be willing to listen.
She seems a little bit startled by like the sudden probing into it, but she doesn't exactly seem displeased. She's happy that you're being considerate about it, and she understands the parallels like logically.
Mm-hmm.
But she nods and says, I'm happy that you're so concerned. And I'd love to take you up on the offer. It's just, I think right now we should focus on Plague first, and then maybe I could indulge myself more.
Absolutely. Whenever. So
She nods and thanks you very sincerely.
And just to catch you up, where are you back?
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. So you said that you hung around to make sure everyone got out, so you would have heard this. So Rhea and Rhea and Shala waited for Amelia as well, and when Amelia came out, Shala went up to her and said, "Don't hate me." And Amelia was basically like, "You don't know me. Why does it matter?" And Shala's really only response was like, "It matters." And Amelia walked away. And then you would have heard Shala tell Rhea that just once she thought that they should try it her way, but that Shala still felt the best option was to slide a knife in her ribs. And then Shala walked away.
Sick nasty.
I mean, she's just a bard, guys. But just bard things.
Just hashtag just bard things. Moiri will also approach Amelia, but stay a respectful 5 feet away.
Was Moiri going to say anything?
No, she's just creepily following
She's waiting
you.
for Amelia to acknowledge her. She doesn't really want to take her by surprise right this second.
That's very fair. Amelia would sigh and say, "If you're here to scold me more, I'm really, really not in the mood."
No, child.
Then what? What do you want, Moiri?
I think you and I need to talk, but I don't think now is the time for that talk. I think you and I need to agree to set some boundaries there are things I am not comfortable with, and those things are not up for debate. But at the same time, you are still as much my daughter as you ever were.
Just if you want me to find lodging elsewhere, just tell me. Because I can't be away from... She pauses a moment and kind of glances around at the rather public area that they're in. I can't be away from her. Or she can't be away from me.
We will discuss it. But you are still as much my daughter as you ever were. Despite the thing.
She's not a thing.
I will not argue with her, and I will not argue with you. We will discuss it, but I don't wish to bring you any more anger today.
At this point, I think I might be too tired for anger.
Do I have your word that she will not hurt anyone?
No, she won't. She can't even be here without help. She won't hurt any of the children. She's not going to hurt Anna. She's not going to hurt this cat that's just wandered yelling into my room.
Maybe the cat. Maybe the cat. But children and Anna.
No. Children and Anna are fine. But yeah. Is that all you wanted? Seriously? You're just going to open my door and then walk off. Okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever. I hate cats. But yes. Yeah.
All right. With that, you guys walk off back home, I suppose. First things first. I was going to say, I know you all need to take a long rest before you truly decide. It's been a long day. It's starting to get into the evening as well by the time you guys make it back. But Aras and Freya, right now, Ross, are you looking mostly just to sell stuff? Are you looking for an interaction, or?
I'm looking to sell stuff, and I'm
Sure.
looking to get more like basic stuff. I can send you a list. It's like more rope, more grappling arrows, a
Well-
silver mirror, empty flasks.
Why don't we do this? Because and we guys, everyone watching or listening, we were talking about this all week. I'm planning on making some additions to things that could be purchased. Why don't we go ahead and just sell the stuff for now, and then why don't we save interactions and stuff for next session? Because I think that
I was actually not gonna buy anything magical or anything like that.
Sure. But I mean, I'm saying that by all means we can buy mundane stuff. But I mean, you guys might want to go shopping next week, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but for now, we can go ahead and get everything sold off. To keep things simple, the weapons that you have, do you have the... I think I gave you an overall value for them.
Yeah, which was a little weird, but that's fine. I can give that to you later.
No, I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
So, basically, the gold I gave you is half of their value, what you would get normally for selling.
Okay.
So that's not the normal. That's half of what they are normally valued at.
Got it.
Because I wanted to keep things simple for you. So basically, we can say you can sell all those amongst... You wouldn't be able to do that to Timronian. You basically have to go to S13, the marketplace here. Because Timronian is not going to care about 22 daggers.
Yeah.
Like, what does he care? He's got big things to buy and sell. No. So basically, you and Freya just wander around. Hey, you want to buy some daggers? No. Opening up your coat. No, you can find plenty of merchants in the marketplace that would sell that would buy the mundane stuff, the daggers. The +1 dagger you'd have to probably go to Timroni, and most people wouldn't have the money on hand to buy that from you.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy that. I wouldn't sell that right now anyways.
Gotcha.
So
the short swords, the crossbows, the bolts, the chain shirts, etc. Even the alchemist fire flasks, you can sell those if you choose.
no.
The masterwork stuff you can sell. Yeah, so all the mundane stuff you can get sold at the market.
So it's half the market price. Like I don't have the value for the chain shirts.
Right. No, what I have. So next to each item has a gold value in parentheses. That is what you would get for selling all of them.
Yeah, that would require me to actually know.
Because I promise you, chain shirts are not 25 gold a piece.
Got it.
Yeah.
400 gold a piece?
No.
Total for the lot?
The parentheses is what you get for selling all of them. Basically, you can just delete this stuff and keep the parentheses, and that's how much money you have.
Okay. That helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was trying to make it simple for you.
Okay.
All right. And then you wanted to buy some mundane stuff?
Yeah, like, some ropes. Some grappling arrows, some ropes, candle, a silver mirror, which I think is more expensive, empty flasks, blankets.
Okay. Can you get me a list, and then we'll out of session we'll look up the prices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Perfect.
Yeah, and if anybody else wants like mundane stuff.
Right. And then next session, I think we'll start off with a trip to Timronian, because I have some fun stuff for you guys. So, not sure how we'll roleplay that. You know what? He like it's just like Ria's like, you know what we all need? We just need shopping. We need a day for ourselves. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
But we'll figure it out. But consider those items sold well enough, easily enough. And you guys make your way back towards the Westdock warehouse, where you find a Van Carlo, much recovered. In fact, he's has all the kids gathered around him, and he is telling them a story of the adventures of the magnificent Blackjack, who he's actually met before. And all the kids are like, no. Anna is preparing some form of supper, which consists mostly of fish. Looks like someone did some fishing while you were gone. And otherwise, everyone's basically just making the most of it. It's obviously not the most comfortable lodgings, but Anna's not bad at sprucing up the place as best she can. You know, turning a warehouse into a living quarters. And as you all trickle in, I suppose a little at a time, she would greet you all, get you warmed up by the fire, including Weary. It'd be one of the few times where Anna would actually kind of like usher Weary somewhere, like go by the fire, sit, warm up. I'm making dinner. And then
Oh, how the tables have turned.
And then, of course, after telling the kids, after you all have pretty much gotten back, Van Carlo, we'll say maybe this is over dinner, right? The kids are having food off to the side, and the adults are at another table. And Van Carlo's like, so, you all look exhausted. What did you find?
He's asking about the manor, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I had forgotten if we told him we were going there or not.
Honestly, I don't think he was conscious. So more he's just asking because you all just came back looking exhausted, right? So he wouldn't be asking specifically what did you find at Carwyn Manor, because he was unconscious when you guys left.
Mm-hmm.
Amelia's just quietly eating her food.
I do hope you were not close friends with the Carrowan family.
The Carowans. A bunch of show-offs. They're the type of nobles that give nobles, not a bad name. That's not quite fair. Pompous, I think is the word I'd use. Noble to the core. They like to show off, throw extravagant parties to increase their standing. Why?
Well, you might want to put that in past tense.
The plague?
No. No.
I see. And then if you want, just to save you guys having to tell the whole story again, you could just say, do you tell Vencarlo and Anna what happened, or?
Yes.
Okay.
She will spare the gory bits, like
Sure.
she won't tell Anna, like, oh yeah, they were pantomiming eating and like all this fucked up shit.
Right.
But she'll give kind of Anna the basic version, and then like when Anna goes to bed, she'll tell Vencarlo, like, oh, this shit was really fucked up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because that's definitely what we need to hear over dinner.
While you're eating, right? Sure, understood. At some point during the dinner, like Vencarlo would say, "So what happened to the boy, the Ruan? Did you find him?"
No, he was the only one she was given orders not to kill, and evidently was collected by Rolf.
Why? Why him?
You're asking the wrong person if you want an answer to that.
But she didn't say anything?
No.
Well,
I get the feeling he didn't tell her much.
Sorry, Frey, you were trying to say something?
I wanted to ask, because my mind went blank for a moment. He was asking why Ruan, right?
Right. Why he was spared.
And the response was no idea.
Right.
Well, here, first of all, I'll make a character's insight check to see if Moira's intentionally leaving this out or not. Because I don't know.
Like
there was one
if
part.
she's hiding it, or if she's just keeping it to her, or if she just
Oh,
really
the
doesn't
Yeah.
remember.
thing.
Sure.
Because she, like, Fran's considering mentioning that, but she doesn't. It's not like she wants to go behind your back about it. She's
Sure.
just not sure.
Sure. 19? Sure. So, did Murray just... Is she not unaware, or is she hiding the Varisian thing?
No, she just
Exhausted.
she just didn't put that in there. No, she was I think she had taken that question as a beyond the fact that he was some kind of noble.
Oh, gotcha. Well, or so of race, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not one of those no reason like type of thing. So for from that insight check at 19, it seems like Murray's just didn't know or didn't think that part was, maybe Murray just doesn't think that way. You know, Murray doesn't see different races or ethnicities or anything like that.
Yeah, without feathers, y'all look kind of the same.
Yeah.
Well, Freya would speak up a bit timidly, don't say. So they did mention that they were searching for the Venetian person, not to kill them, to spare them, I mean. But I can't imagine why.
Venetian. And
yeah.
you hear Anna on the other side of the table. They're looking for Venetians. Should I and Letta be worried? Maybe I should keep her in the house.
Who is Letta one of the children?
Letta is Anna's child.
Okay, well, Freya would say, it was more directly related to the party. The orders that, were given to the assailant, were to spare the Venetian. I don't think either of you two would be in any danger.
Oh.
You see Moiri's eyes narrow across the table, and like she's just put something together.
Anna would nod. Okay, well, that's good to hear, at least. I haven't been back to home in a very long time, but... Well, in any case, I'll clean up dishes. And Anna gets up.
If you don't mind, children, I believe I'll go for a walk.
And Van Carlo goes, of course.
And Mary will get up and take her leave.
All right.
Before she goes, Amelia will say, "Be careful."
Of course. Whee!
So again, keeping things kind of loose. You guys obviously will need to rest for the evening. Is there anything that you'd want to do before you rest?
Me. Weary is going to meander on down to the castle.
Okay.
And she is going to cast one single spell.
Uh-huh.
And that spell is sending.
Fireball.
Ah, God, no. I wish.
Right, yes, sending. Mm-hmm. To I know who.
Yeah.
Meteor storm. Nice.
You killed the queen.
Into
Right,
the campaign.
Got you. Do you want to send me that message privately, or do you just want to say?
No, I'll just say it.
Sure.
She'll say, I think you and I need to talk.
Oh.
Whoa!
Yeah, what the hell?
Allura, was that you?
Are you talking about the gag?
Yes.
No, I've been muted.
Who was that?
Is everyone okay? Are all my players accounted for?
Okay, I'm fine. Just give me a moment. There was someone outside my room. I'll be back.
Uh-oh. Okay, have fun.
I bet you it was Dad.
No.
I
I love how you immediately assumed that it was me.
Hacking up a hairball.
Because you've had this... Okay, Allura's had this fucking cough for months. That started out as bronchitis, and now it's just a dry cough, and she has an inhaler for it.
Ooh. Laura, have you tried not?
Have you tried not coughing until you throw up every morning?
Well,
Did you
when
try turning it off
I
and on
just
again?
hold my breath until it stops, and that usually works.
Have you called technical support?
Have you tried turning your lungs off and back on again?
Is your esophagus fully updated? So you would get a response back. It is dangerous to be seen with me.
I'm back.
How about
he's
you
fine.
find a balcony somewhere?
Aha, he is fine. So it was Dad. I know that. I'm familiar.
He's well, like he's been a little bit like I want to say he's like a cold or something for a few days.
Yep.
But that was just unusually like a bad fit.
Yeah. I kind of, I mean, growing up with the guy, I kind of felt that was like a him clearing out pipes type of thing.
Nasty.
Anyway, yeah, you get a message back. It is dangerous to be seen together.
My son, that is a danger I am willing to accept.
You get one more response. I would like to speak to you as well. Name a time and a place.
As soon as possible. There are many things I need to speak with you about.
How many level 1 spell slots do you have?
I've got 2 level 1 and 1 level 2. So
Okay.
3.
So this last one is like your last one. I would probably suggest actually name a time and a place because he won't be able to, you know what I'm saying? You won't be able to send another response tonight.
Mm-hmm. Fuck. Okay. So with Weary's knowledge of the city, is there a time? Is there generally a place where they could go that is nearby the Citadel that is like quiet enough that it's like that they could talk, but like busy enough that it wouldn't be weird for them to be there?
Roll me a intelligence check.
Ooh, because I really excel at those.
Yeah. You can do it.
No, I can't.
No, that's not a hard check. Yeah, there's a small temple of Sarenrae close by.
Oh yeah, with that's my temple.
Yep. I was gonna say it's not a
yeah.
hard check. Yeah, it's the temple that you go to from time to time. Yeah, it's actually located not quite in the heights, but around H12 area. So, would you tell him there?
Yes, and about what time of night is it?
Oh, it's still fairly early. It's probably 9-ish.
She'll tell him midnight.
Okay. He'll say, "I will be there."
That's my boy.
All right, we'll get back to that. Anyone else before you all head off to beddy bye?
I did want to ask, how long would Weary have been out?
Well,
she's going to be out until past midnight.
I assume she'll be out till past midnight.
Because at that point, if she's not coming back, I think I would at some point cast sending to ask her what she's doing.
Hey,
because
could you get some milk on your way home? Right.
Well,
right. like a hey, are you okay?
Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be anything like super demanding, like where are you or something like that, but more of a are you all right? Do you need help? Sort of
Where
thing.
have you been, young lady?
Yeah.
No response. No, Miri, what do you do?
I'm unhurt. I'm at the temple. I believe I will be here for some time. There is a talk I need to have.
Okay, she's satisfied with that.
Bitch, I set the curfew.
That's fair, but for all of my character would have known if you don't come back after just wandering off.
No, I was talking to Rhea, and Rhea was sassing me in the chat.
Oh,
in the peanut gallery. All right.
Like
so yeah, Freya, you get that message back. She's at the temple. Will probably be there for some time.
Okay. Freya's tired. She's gonna go pass out.
All right. Rhea, Ross, Amelia.
Rhea's gonna go just relax up on the roof for a while and play her pan flute.
Okay.
Ross was gonna be up on the roof as well, just kind of fiddling with stuff. Or is there enough space on the roof to be separate?
Oh, it's a huge warehouse. Yes.
Okay, then yeah.
Gotcha. Amelia.
Surprise, there's a giant hole on either side and you have to sit right next to it.
You ever play Don't Break the Ice? Well, there's not much left.
Oof. Amelia's just kind of gonna be off in her own little corner.
All right. I will say, Rhea, that's a fantastic performance check, actually. You guys are hearing very, very skillful. What type of music? Sad, soft, relaxing, jazz, metal.
Just something, a relaxing tune.
See Shala headbanging in the distance. Okay, you guys hear a very expertly played background music, like ambient soundtrack, like Inya without the lyrics. All right. Then we'll jump over to Muri real quick. Muri.
Yes. Can you hear the cat outside the door?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So
She's already shut out. I can't do anything else.
we'll say you probably pass the time in the temple in prayer. I would assume. Midnight arrives, and almost on the dot, even though you guys don't keep time quite that well. Your son arrives clothed in a cloak, no armor. And he walks up and sits down in a pew next to you. And he says, "I hope you are well, mother."
Miri reaches out and takes his hand. This brings me joy to have you here.
I must apologize. I did not know you were being held. I was informed by the Field Marshal of the Crimson Guard. If I had known, I would have demanded they release you immediately.
My son, you do not have to apologize.
They are my troops. They are my responsibility. It is my failure.
Then it is one you are forgiven of. I chose not to tell you myself.
Yes, I'm not surprised. Why have you asked me here, Mother? I have already told you I cannot stop what I am doing. It must be done. You do not understand how... You do not understand.
And yet I endeavor to. There are things I must tell you. In confidence, my son.
His eyes narrow. No matter how many times I tell you to stay away from this, you will not, will you?
We are both tied to it, I'm afraid.
Then speak. You have my confidence.
First order of business, I believe, is that the Field Marshal is an extraordinarily trustworthy woman. And I think that you'll find that in dire times, she is a good person to have on your side.
Odd. I have heard many things that are less kind.
I'm sure you have. It is not pleasant company you surround yourself with.
No, it is not.
There are many, many things I must tell you. This may take some time. You will not be missed.
No. And like his beak cracks a little bit in his smile. I am the captain after all. I go where I choose. No more curfews, Mother.
Certainly not for me.
And he would sit there and listen to, like, I'm assuming you have to give him a bit of an info dump.
Yeah, pretty much. She will frame all of it as not here's what I did, but here's what I did. Oh, and here's what the golden masked people did.
Got you. And he would say, you know much about these masked people.
Why didn't you know it's the talk of the town? That and the boy who was strung up from the ramparts. I do hope that was not your doing.
It was not. The Queen demanded it.
Tell me what you know of that boy.
Very little. He was arrested by my maidens for, well, from what I was told, he was spreading the plague.
I'm afraid that's not true. He was arrested with us. He was in our party. His name was Faust. Oh, child.
His eyes widen a bit. I must have a long conversation with my guard.
I don't think it's their fault.
No.
I cannot help but pity them.
He nods. I know of what you speak. I know you would not approve. Truth be told, neither do I, but they make their choice. And they are dedicated.
Sometimes I wonder if they really do, or if it is decided for them. I have many suspicions about their maidens and their unfortunate contract with the Queen, but I will keep that to myself.
He shakes his head. I do not approve of how they are made, but I am in charge of them, and I run them well, as best I can.
You know me, Mallow. I was always too soft-hearted on lost children.
Sorry about that. Sorry, I missed the last thing you said.
No, you're good. She said, I'm sorry, Mallow. You know I was always too soft-hearted on lost children.
He nods. Thank you for telling me this. I can use it. Mother, I know it's too...
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, like they speak at the same time, and then he goes, no, you first.
I might need your help. Well, we have learned some very dangerous things.
What things?
About... You know, as a cleric and as a healer, above all else, above other things, it is the plague that concerns me. Not corrupt, no. Not the questionable decisions of a ruler, but the plague.
Yes, I can understand that.
I have learned dangerous things about it. And, she's pretty much going to tell him pretty much everything that's been done up to this point.
Gotcha.
Like,
okay.
She's going to tell him everything about the boat, what they found on the boat, the dude without the tongue, what was in the chest, that she tried to keep the book away from Faust, about what was written in the book, about that she tried to get Faust to leave the dungeon when they were arrested, and she'll finally end with the thing they found in his hand, and she'll say, I know precious little about this person. I've never met them except in passing. I know nothing about them except what Faust and Freya have told me. If she has worked as closely with the Queen as it is said, I need to know if this is a baseless accusation.
He is silent for a long time.
It is dangerous to say it, and if I'm wrong, then it is cruel to say it, but if I'm right.
He hesitates, and then he says, I am not told much, but you are right to be worried.
I thought as much.
Mother, I know it is pointless to ask you not to get involved. I understand.
I know you wish my safety, Mother.
I
I
cannot
know.
stop you from trying to solve this riddle, this plague, and I would not. You are a healer, first and foremost, always were. But leave Gadrian to me. He is more powerful than you can imagine.
They say he's changed.
Those that seek power often do.
Every time I hear him, every time I hear his name, people talk of him more and more like he is a god.
Your son stands up and starts to gather the cloak around him, and he says, "That may be. I have already sacrificed much, and I assume I will sacrifice much more before this is done. But I swear to you, God or no God, I will find him. I will kill him."
I cannot ask of you to preserve your own safety. I know that may not be possible, but please, Mallow, be safe.
And you as well.
Of my true blood, you are all I have left.
He'll reach down and he'll hug you. And then he'll start to leave, and he'll stop and turn around. He'll say, "You are right to fear. You are right to suspect. Be careful." And he'll start walking.
On the first night of each week, is there a balcony by your room, by chance?
Yes, there is.
Well, it's about the time of year that the house drakes are particularly active. You might keep an eye out for.
He gives you a curious look. Okay, I shall.
Be well, my son.
He'll nod and he'll turn and go. So, you head back, I assume?
Yep.
All right. It's past midnight. I think most people are probably asleep. Is anyone still up past midnight? It's probably 1 in the morning now.
Uras would be up until Murray got back. Just sitting on the rooftop, fiddling with stuff, and as a pretense to make sure that she got back okay.
Oh, you do care. Yeah.
All right.
Can't prove it.
So then everyone kind of beds down. And other players, I will ask your patience with me. I know I just had a scene with Murray, but I have something else planned that has been planned for a while. So your patience, please, all of you.
No.
Absolutely
With
not.
me or with who?
Yep, with Murray.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Well, I didn't know you were going to go talk to your son. Murray, you drift off to sleep, yes? Eventually.
Eventually, yes.
As you drift off to sleep, you dream. And in your dream, maybe you're aware of it, maybe not. I don't know how Murray... dreams are different for different people. Some people realize they're in them, some people don't. But in this dream, you are in a field of grass. But the grass is dead or maybe hibernating. It's brown. Perhaps it's winter. Hard to tell. The sky is overcast and dark brown. And there is a single rock in the flowing sea of the hibernating or dead grass. And for whatever reason, you find yourself drifting towards the rock, and you sit there as if it was the most natural thing, like that was your purpose, to come here and sit on this rock, and you're not sure why, but it feels right. And as you sit on the rock, you suddenly notice across from you, there is a beautiful half-elf. Looks just like Amelia, with no tattoos, wearing a very pretty gown made of silk, sitting on a rock that you didn't notice before, about 10 feet from you, just watching you.
I wondered when you would come.
We must talk.
Speak your mind, child.
You know who I am.
How could I not?
Yet you know nothing about me.
Very little has been spoken.
For such little that's been spoken, you are quick to condemn me.
Can you blame me, child?
Yes. Yes, I can. You speak of things you do not understand, as if you were a master. Tell
You
me.
hold such anger in your heart, child. Is
Yes.
this what drives Amelia? Is this why she cannot rest?
I cannot speak to what drives Amelia. And I would be lying if I were to say that anger was not part of what drives me, but what truly drives me is something more primal. What would you have for me, Murray? Would you have me banished, have me move on to the afterlife? Is that what you see in my future?
I see that you're dead. That is what I see.
Perhaps
You're
not.
dead and there is nothing for you here.
There is nothing for me anywhere. I am not just dead, Murray. My soul was ripped from the pattern of life and death, intended by Roth to be bound to Gadrian Lamb forever. I have no life. I have no place in the afterlife. Had Amelia not done what she did, I would be forever an eternal servant to that monster. But because of her love for me, that fate was avoided. But you would what? Drive me away? I have no place. Your goddess cannot offer me peace. I am beside the pattern. If I leave Amelia, I will wander until I lose all vestige of who I am and become nothing more than a wraith. Is that what you want?
Such anger in you.
It is not anger that makes me speak to you now. It is desperation. Amelia, whether she shows it, cares what you think. But she
and
can...
it is a testament to what I think of her that I did not banish her from my presence.
Banish her? What have I done to you to draw such hatred?
Do you really think it's you, child? Do you really think it's you? I don't know you at all.
Yet you're so quick to condemn me, to drive me out.
Do you understand why?
I understand that you think I am a threat, that I am a danger to your children, even though I have done nothing but protect them.
But why? Dig deeper.
I protected what I hold dear, my sister.
Dig deeper. Why?
She looks at you. You're looking for an answer that's not there, Murray. I seek survival. I seek to keep myself. And I seek no harm to you or yours.
So you don't know?
No.
We could all shun the undead. Perhaps I am more than others, perhaps because I am a cleric, but perhaps a deeper reason, perhaps one you have not considered.
And that reason is?
We believe the touch of death is like ink. That those who deal in necromancy, the black arts, those who would seek to disrupt the pattern of life and death are forever stained by what they have done. We believe that death follows when she is called.
So I am to be cast out, stripped from my sister, made to wander until I am a mindless monster, all because I'm not convenient for your beliefs?
I can't make you do anything. All I want is to make you understand. I have brought enough death into this world. Perhaps by inattention, perhaps by simply not being enough.
And so I must suffer for your crimes.
Not suffer, child.
Then what would you have of me? You want
What would you
Amelia to
have
break
of
her
me?
ties of me? To see that the world is not black and white? That what you call black necromancy was a sister, loving her sister and saving her from a fate worse than any you can imagine? You like to place things in order. You're a very organized person, I've watched you. But the world is not. It is a wreathing, seething mass of chaos. I am not evil. I did not choose this fate, nor did my sister. Do not treat me like a monster.
It might help if you didn't introduce yourself as one.
I cannot help how I appear there. I did not rip out my throat. You can thank Rolth for that. But I agree. Children should not be subjected to such things.
What would you have of me, child?
Amelia needs you as much as I need her. Do not cast her out because of me, and do not drive me from her. You will condemn me to a fate far worse than death.
If I have kindness in me to be dealt, then I shall deal it. And what of you, child? You've set you are beside the pattern of life and death. What happens next for you?
There is only one way for me to find peace. A part of me is bound to Amelia, the majority, the most of me. But a part of me is bound to that monster. If he is to pass into the realm of the dead, and if Amelia lets me go, only then, when both have happened, may I find some rest. Half a soul cannot pass into the next realm.
Then I shall do my best to bring you peace.
And with that, she stands up. Be better to Amelia than I was. And then she just disappears. And you wake up the next morning. So, this might be a good place to end the session, unless anyone has anything they'd want to address before.
No?
Alrighty then. Then we'll go ahead and stop for the night here. Next week it's shopping. No,
Yeah.
next week you guys get to decide if you want to do Raker's Alley or go straight to the Blessed Maiden, or, I mean, hell, maybe you want to go to Cliffside, see what's kicking over there. You never know.
You know, sounds like fun.
Oh my god, Becca.
But yeah, we'll see everyone next week. You all take care, and ta-ta, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.